Hello, hello, Saggy Joe. I think it's a time that we talk about Ashton Kutcher. So, I am making this video because I feel betrayed. Like actually betrayed. This is worse when I found out I wasn't adopted. When I was actually a biological child. This is a worse betrayal than that. So, um I used to think that honestly I even kind of looked up to Ashton Kutcher. I was like, and when I found out the work that he was doing with the child exploitation in Asia, especially Southeast Asia, it's horrendous there. And I'm seeing that as from what I've seen and from experience. Well, not personal experience, but anyways, that's not important. The child exploitation, creating programs and websites to fight against a cause, but then it's like I appreciate all the work you're doing for other people, but sometimes you got to look at your own backyard and see if that needs any help first. You always want to nurture your backyard before you start helping other people's backyards, and that's exactly what he didn't do. Because the fucking guy clearly knew what Diddy was all about. Was one of Diddy's best friends. Even talking about going for a run together, and then Diddy getting so frustrated he lost, so that he ended up training to run a fucking marathon. You know what I mean? Like that's how close these two were, right? And obviously, this is all circumstantial evidence, but this boy had to know. You know what I mean? This guy had to fucking know what the hell is going on in these parties. And it's not just that, you know what I mean? There's other people who are starting to get involved. Some people were asking about Jennifer Lopez and what she has to say. Uh, because Jennifer Lopez was in the case in 1999 when Diddy was involved with the shooting, and then they had another rapper take the fall. I think his name is Shine Jones. He's now a politician in Belize, but worker from that incident. Again, eyewitness testimony is not very reliable, but she distinctly remembers, very vividly remembers that it was Diddy who shot, and then it was Jennifer Lopez who brought in the gun and was the one who gave it to Diddy. So it's accessories, and then she kind of broke up, and she's very very quiet about that whole thing. And honestly, I hope that she's in a better place because I'm not sure exactly what she had to go through, but you never know. Like for all I know, she got spit roasted, double anal, double fisted, the good old orifices. I don't know. They even like, I don't know, fucked her armpits or hair, like one of those weird anime porn shit. Anyways, that's besides the point. The whole idea is just like it's devastating, man. um just to know that some of the people that, because like Hollywood, they don't have a lot of good people. All of them, they all suck, right? But you would hope that there's some, at least one, you know ray of shining light, where you guys is like, you know what, like not everything can be terrible and awful, you know what I mean? But then again, it's like when people virtual signal, that's when you can't trust those people. So Ashton Kutcher, he used the virtual signal because he had this program, right? And then you, as a naive kid, are just like, oh, this guy's pretty awesome. He fights for something that's wrong. But maybe he was fighting that fight because he felt so guilty for not saying anything about what happens in these drug laced orgies that would happen at Diddy's parties. You know what I mean? Uh, and this is not enough to like, so because some people that would have been in the know, right? Let's say LeBron, for example, because LeBron mentioned Diddy's parties as well. Uh, by association, it's not necessarily mean you're guilty, right? But then with Kutcher, uh, with Kutcher, the publicist, all of those people, honestly, not just let's put Kutcher on the side, but everyone who works for him, every single employee there, I don't know what dynamic would have been. It would have been like, but I would imagine if you were on the management level where you had like a pretty close relationship with Diddy, I think you gotta really look at yourself in the face. And I'm just like, I hope that you get caught, man. I hope that you get caught and face the full wrath of not just justice but public opinion. I want your face out. I want your names out, and I want you to get fucked over. You know what I mean? Because what what this guy was able to do for such a long time is disgusting. Um, and it really makes you question what what is there left with this life. You know what I mean? It's terrible, man. And I, in the end of the day, I'm glad that these things are coming out, and it's getting harder and harder to get away with these things because this guy has been doing it for such a long time. But with the internet now, you just never really know, right? Even this, I heard the story of the camera with that footage of Cassie getting her life getting taken. The Diddy was just basically trying to get her life, take her life, and then it's like apparently the original supervisor, the guard supervisor who was there, refused to give the footage. But so he went home, and then the next day he found that the footage was missing already. And I think the original offer was like it was something like 50 to 300K, something like that. It was a huge range. But I will at least like commend that guy just to say something. And honestly, it gets hard, right? Because if you're an average Joe and you say, "Oh, how could you stay silent?" I'm like, honestly, if this guy had access to my records, my family, if I had things that I would die for, I would sign that NDA because the other option is to go against him. And do you really want to go against someone that powerful? This guy got away with this for so long. You know what I mean? So many people were very quiet about this shit, even though they knew it was wrong, or at least I'd like to think they knew it was wrong. So it's one of those things where just like it's depressing as fuck to know that this is real life because whatever these fucking orgies, they're just I gotta say this. I'll keep saying this. It's like an incel's fantasy. Honestly, the only difference is like incels prefer harems, but I'm pretty sure they don't mind like being cucked every once in a while. So it's man, it makes you want to just give up on life and give up on the people that here. Like, what's the point of living when you know that the world is just terrible, but you just gotta live day to day? Honestly, I mean, even me, I've been unemployed and I actually don't qualify for unemployment, so I've been very stressed out about that. But yeah, it's devastating, man. Just hope I just hope the victims can find peace, whoever those victims are. We will never know the full story, and I think that's gonna remain that way. No one's gonna tell us everything. We're just gonna have to make our own judgments and our own decisions. I already perceive him as guilty because the evidence is just too much. Um, you have video evidence. You have too many testimonials that are talking about the same thing. Dates match, actions match. Even if eyewitness testimony can be relatively unreliable, there's too much evidence that stacks against each other for me to say that this shit ain't real. It's very real, and it's I just want to know how many more rings there are like this in the Hollywood scene and how many of them can fall. Epstein, I think everyone really knew about Epstein. Used to have Schneider Circle. Uh, uh, it's just so hard. Like, and then there's it's so hard being a minor in these things. It's hard to. It's devastating, man. It's like your career or your dream. You have this idea of what people portray in real life. Um, Life of luxury, life of party and hedonism. And the reality is you have to go through all this and then you just have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Was that worth all the luxuries? Because like honestly, if I had to get banged maybe a couple of times, I can live with that. But if I had to participate in these orgies and then have to say an NDA, it would never sit well with me. I'd have to say something. Anyways, I think I rambled on too much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Later days.